All right, guys, I got another short video for you. Recently, I bought, I've been a Lone Peak guy for quite a few years now. In fact, I've been a Lone Peak guy since Dixie Homemade Wanderlust years ago when she did the Appalachian Trail. That's when I got introduced to the Lone Peak series, the Ultra Lone Peaks. Because before that I was using Keens and Merrills, and I was quite happy with them. But the Lone Peak, to me, they were like clown shoes. They had such a wide toe front, and they call it a zero drop. And really, when I first put them on, I felt like they were clown shoes. But nevertheless, I was a convert for years and years and years. The only problem I had with Lone Peak was I didn't like the little tab on the front. It would come loose. And actually, that was the only thing that bothered me. But since then, I've heard these long distance hikers like Metro on the Move, Andy Metro on the Move, Jibbin Hikes, and of course Crow from As the Crow Flies Hiking. They've been talking about these Olympic 5s by Altra. It's made by the same company. So those guys that walk those miles, they do the talk and they walk those miles. You almost have to pay attention to what they say. So I actually sold my GoPro and invested in a pair of these Olympus 5s. We're going to talk, I just want to give you my impression, my thoughts about this Olympus 5 when I got them. And the first thing I noticed was the tongue is skimpy, to say the least, because I know my Lone Peaks, I could grab them by the tongue, put them on real easy. And so that was one thing that bothered me, to feel like they should have made that just a little more robust. Oh, by the way, I did weigh this shoe against my Lone Peak, and it's a few ounces, negligible, not enough to even be concerned, but they are a little heavier. These are not zero drop shoes, whatever that means. They stack just like a regular shoe. In fact, when I put them on, I felt like I had elevator shoes on because it raised me up a little bit. But from a perspective was different. But anyway, I didn't like the tongue. Now that's not a deal breaker, but because when I put them on, it's hard to reach down there. They got this little split here too for some reason. You can't grab it to pull the tongue back up. And the second thing was I did the laces. The damn laces, they're 48 inches long, and this little extra hole here, right there, it's not enough lace to use that hole. You know, most hikers know it's a line lock. I mean, it's a heel lock thing for locking down your heel so your foot don't slide forward. So, and that was one thing I noticed. Without using that, my feet did bump the front of the shoe. So anyway, I usually use these lace lock from Amazon, $7, and relace them. Now they 48 inches too, but they also see they pull, so they pull twice as long. And what happened is, the laces that come with them, you lace them up. The best you can do is get a little teeny tie. I would like to pull them down and try to tighten them up across my arch there so my foot don't move around. So that wouldn't work, because you know, to use that extra little hole, you need to make a little loop and then crisscross them, and I'll show you what I'm talking about. So that was the major thing. The tongue, the laces wasn't long enough, and they were just a little heavy. But see, okay, got them on. Now see how the tongue, I got to reach in there with my fingers and try to pull it back up. Didn't like that. Didn't have to do that with the Lone Peaks. Anyway, with these line laces that I've got laced, see, I can pull them like that, lock them down, so my, it's cold out here, lock them down. See, now this foot's not going to, it'll minimize the foot moving forward. Anyway, that's all I got. But I do have, fortunate for me, I've got the guy that recommended it here with me today at the campsite. and it's going to be counterpoint. So I pointed out the little things that bother me, but let's see if what he has to say about them. And here he is here, the man, the myth, the legend, John Brad, as a crow flies hiking. So what you got to say about that, Brad? Watch out, there's some, I think that's what you said was.
Oh, yeah. So I really like the Olympus. I remember talking to you about it. I have 3 versions of the Olympus. I think I actually have something called the 2.5 version of the Olympus. They do look like clown shoes. And then I have the 3s and the 4s. I never got the 5s. But I know J-Ben loves the 5s, and I agree. I'd never really thought about the tongue, but I see what you're saying about the tongue. The laces didn't really bother me, but I did recognize that it can't do a double knot on them.
No.
Because they're not long enough.
Little old Danny tie.
But what I liked about the Olympus and why I had 3 versions of them was the stack. I mean, they're so comfortable.
Yeah.
My 2 issues with the Olympus and why I switched back to the Lone Peak is the tread. In the middle of the tread, you have the Vibram sole on the front with the harder plastic or whatever, rubber, whatever that is, or some combination, and you have it a little bit on the back. But in the middle, they have this soft tread, and that goes, if you do a lot of miles, that goes down very quickly in the middle because it's a lot softer than these harder rubber or plastic than in the middle, and that goes down quick, and then you lose traction very quickly. The second thing that I will say is because the stack is so high on the Olympus is I would roll my ankle. And I don't do that with the Lone Peak because it doesn't quite as high, but they did, I think, fix this with the 4s and the 5s by splitting the tread in the middle so that it's wider and you don't roll as much. But because the stack is so high, I would find myself at the end of the day when I'm not doing good feet placement would roll my ankle.
Actually, that happened to me today, and my heel almost comes out.
Yeah.
You can roll your heel. But anyway, of course, I had to get this funky color because these are the ones that were on sale.
Yeah, that's usually the case, yeah.
Yeah, so that's how it ended up a funky color. So I went ahead and got the funky lock laces just to top it off.
Right.
Well, anyway, I guess that's all we got for you today. Maybe see you next week.